Hey everyone, today is Tuesday, May 1st, new month. Um, Tonight I am running my Star Wars Saga Edition role-playing game for my two friends. They are now playing two Rebel pilots. One of them's a Jedi, one of them's a soldier, though the Jedi class, per se, isn't... You're not really a Jedi wholly until you get higher level in it, so it's kind of like baseline Force-sensitive class, if you will. You do get a lightsaber, but there you go. Anyways, when last they left off, they had just been shot down over Ord Mantell. What happened was they were on a mission with their training squad to bomb a few unarmed Imperial facilities on Ord Mantell, and there were four of them. And so their entire wing of ancient Y-wings from the Clone Wars, early Clone Wars, goes to take them out. They each flight of three gets set upon by a flight of three cloak-shaped fighters, and my players' two wingmen took out one of the fighters, but the other two fighters took them out. And then my players finished bombing the facility they were after, because mission comes first, and then they winged around and took out the other two fighters. Did a status check, found that one of the facilities had not yet been taken out, so they went over there to take it out. They take out the facility, and then as they're flying by, they get shot with a shoulder-mounted concussion missile, and it peppers the underside of their Y-wing, and they go down. And when we left off, they had just hidden the Y-wing in a cave, in a cliff face. It's got a network of caves in it. And let's see, they had been missing the damage report. I had to write it down so I didn't forget. Their hyperdrive is out. Their engines are out. They maneuvered into the cave via their repulsor lift. Their engines aren't working properly. Their shields are out. Their communications seem to be disconnected. Their bomb launcher is fused shut. Their torpedo launcher is no longer receiving commands from the computer. And their generator is losing power. So they have to perform some significant repairs on their ship. My goal for tonight, is to get them to repair their ship and to strike at another Imperial facility on Ord Mantell that they weren't aware of when they initially assaulted it. There aren't going to be any more fighters, but I have this plan in mind for a big tower with a gun on top that they have to take that out, and there's like this energy shield protecting the base, and they take out the gun, and the top of the gun falls, and it takes out the shield generator, and blah, blah, blah. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But before that happens, before I can even get them to do that, they have to fix their ship. And they don't have the supplies on hand right away. So my idea is that I'm going to send a couple of Imperial scouts on speeder bikes out to the network of caves. They're looking for this downed Y-wing, or at least the wreckage of it. And they're standing by their bikes looking at the caves going, God, this is going to take forever, blah, blah, blah. Now, obviously, all this communication is going to happen inside their helmets. They're not going to be talking out in the air. So the players aren't going to have much of an idea unless they somehow hack their communications. Now, they have an astromech droid, and it is possible, but highly unlikely. They may not even think about it. So what's going to happen is that the two scouts are going to call in for a troop transport to come in, and it'll show up a few minutes later. So if the players wait to see what happens, a squad of 4 more troopers are going to show up to look through the caves. If they don't, they can just take out the 2 scouts, and then later they find that 4 more troopers show up. So they can take them out separately from the 2 scouts. That way, instead of fighting 6, they'll be fighting 2 and then 4. And they are equipped for this, and so it's not going to be too big of a problem. But also, like, level 1 Stormies are real easy to kill. Real easy to kill. And this ought to give them a few grenades and extra equipment, rifles and so forth, to compensate for lack of armament. And then they can take the troop transporter, the speeder bikes, or what have you, to another location on the planet so that they can get supplies. I'm thinking that either the troop transport will have predetermined locations in it, because it would be like droid piloted. It would say, okay, we need to go to these coordinates, but it has like home base set into it, so it's like the barracks, the hangar, those sorts of things. So they can go to the hangar, they can raid the hangar for equipment, and then hoof it out of there if they're lucky enough to not be discovered. Now, seeing as they just suffered a massive attack, the Empire's scrambling around trying to salvage what they can, the base is going to be pretty understaffed because they sent out all their people. So I'm expecting very minimal resistance for them at the hangar. At worst, maybe another 4 stormtroopers. At best, there might not be anything there, and I'll roll a d4 to see how many stormtroopers there actually are. Or I'll roll a percentile, and then I'll roll a d4. But, I mean, these are the ideas that I've been thinking of, and I want them to get off Ord Mantell in a timely fashion so that I can move them on to other plot hooks and things like that. Also, they haven't leveled yet. The 2 fighters they took down accounted for either 1,400 experience apiece or 800 experience apiece, depending on how I handle it. I'm thinking of just giving them 800 apiece so they're not level 2 right away, but I don't know. I need to reread that section in the Starship's Guide to the Galaxy to understand the concept behind reducing XP payouts for certain enemies when you're fighting in starship combat, vehicle combat. The issue there is that if there are disparate combat levels, now my friends are effectively at combat level 7, or at least their ship is, and then the enemies were individually 7s. So it was 2 7s versus my friends and a 7. And I don't know if their levels affected it or anything like that. And I know the ship was considered lower than usual because of the fact that I made it an archaic. And it didn't have its skilled crew, so that dropped it by 1. So I think yeah, the Y-Wing BTLS, no, B1, is it B? B, just straight up B, is a 10, and removing the default crew drops it by 1, and removing and accounting for the fact that I made it archaic drops it by another 2. So I think that's where I got the 7. I don't think the players factor into the vehicle's challenge rating. Yeah, because combat level was galaxies. So I need to reread a lot of this stuff. So I'm gonna, like, right after this, while I'm uploading this video, I'm going to be reading Starship to the Galaxy to figure out more about Starship CL, to determine exactly how much experience I should be giving my players for the 2 fighters they shot down. And then 2, I want to figure out if they can take on 2 scout troopers and 4 stormtroopers and maybe another 4 stormtroopers. It's possible, especially with judicious use of cover, but we'll see. So anyways, until next time.